Hello, welcome to another episode of Horn Hoof Records podcast / video podcast. Today I'm here with Tim Holehouse. Hello, Tim.
Hello, alright.
We've just played a gig at Stockport. You just played a gig
my
in
first
Stockport.
first Stockport, yeah.
How did you find Stockport?
I enjoyed that very much, actually. It was a really lovely show, yeah. Really nice bill and nice show, yeah.
Cool. And it's the second day of a tour for you, that's right?
Yes, second day of my tour with my friend Naomi Randall, who's also on the same... We're not on Horn and Hoof Records, we are on R Records from
Good label.
Yeah, good guy, and he's brilliant. And this is Naomi's first ever tour, and it's really not my first ever tour.
Yeah, she was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
What an amazing voice.
Oh, just ridiculous.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sort of talented picking as well.
Yeah, great.
Spot on. Check Naomi Randall out, guys.
Yeah, just brilliant. Absolutely excellent.
So how many days is this tour?
Just 3, this one. This is a
short jaunt then.
This is a short jaunt. I'm off to Canada Saturday next week, so I have this tomorrow's show in Peterborough. I've got a random gig on Wednesday in Bristol, which would have made more sense if my Friday show was happening in Wales, but the airline Air Transat changed my flight from Sunday to Saturday, so I had to cancel the Cardigan gig because there's no physical way I could get back from Cardigan overnight, and then get to Gatwick Airport.
Because I think your plan was for you to play Wales, because you said to me, are we playing in Wales with you? I think
Yeah.
actually, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to be playing in Wales and then come back on Saturday, take it nice and steady back on Saturday, and then get stuff packed and ready for morning on Sunday. But airline changed it to Saturday, so it meant I had to sort of cancel the Wales gig, but I put the Bristol gig on the Wednesday on the way through to Wales, and I already cancelled the show for I pulled out the New Year's Eve show. I won't go into the massive details about it, but I just couldn't do that show, so I didn't want to cancel on this promoter again after cancelling New Year's Eve. So, and it's a really cracking bill on Wednesday. It's been a really good week for female heavy bills.
Cool.
For me, which has been really refreshing, because I do play with a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with playing with a lot of dudes, but it would be nice to see more women on stage. And I am part of the problem being a white male as well. But yeah, for me personally, it's really nice because touring with Naomi, and we played with a girl called Veronica last night. Obviously, we had KTMF tonight, and then I believe on Wednesday we've got Perky, who I absolutely love Perky's stuff. Perky was in the Autonomads.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. Although she was London based, she's now Bristol based, but she was London based. I think she used to come up to Manchester to play with the Autonomads. Perky's solo stuff is just beautiful. Molly Sampson, another fantastic sort of folk blues picker, a bit like Naomi. And I believe there's another Molly as well playing, who I don't know. Okay. Myself, and so it's like, it's quite cool to see. It's like, oh, that's really
sounds
awesome.
Really good.
And then I'm off on tour in Canada with like 3 dudes, of course.
Well,
it's fun.
You can't have it. It can't be perfect all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like you got a cool tour coming up. Obviously, you've been making music in one form or another for a long time. You in previous bands, but how long have you been doing your solo stuff as Tim Holehouse?
16 years.
16 years.
Yeah. So 2005 I started doing the solo stuff, and then by 2006 I was doing it full time as a job.
Right. And how are you finding it as a full time musician?
It's fun. It's stressful.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get to the point where I think I need a manager, because I literally cannot keep hold of all the thousands of emails that come through, and I just need somebody to push me onto that next level. But other than the admin side and the driving side, I love doing this job, and the admin and the driving side make that thing happen.
Yeah.
And I have been pretty much DIY from the get-go, but I am starting to kind of get to a point where I'm like, do you know what? I'm getting older. I'd like to be able to enjoy this
A bit more.
A bit more, like, somebody else to sort of take the slack, because I've worked so hard to get there here. But yeah, no, it's the best job in the world. I get to travel the world and meet people. It's like, that's awesome. You know, what other jobs you just go, oh yeah, I'm just flying to Canada on Saturday, you know, why not?
Haven't you just got back from a US tour as well?
I did the US in November, yeah. I did November.
When it was, it seems like
a
couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, time has become irrelevant these days, hasn't it? Yeah, I did the US in November, and so after Canada we are going also into the US. This is a redo of 2020.
Okay.
So I did the first leg. I'd actually already done the first leg in 2020. We did the Canada bit and met up with Greg Rekus, and we did the over the border thing, and then we did through the Midwest and stuff, and then we got as far as, I think it started to hit once we got the whole thing started to get really surreal once we hit Baltimore. So we hit Baltimore. Till then, everybody in the States had just been going, oh, you know, making COVID jokes and like, isn't it funny, this COVID thing? And then suddenly the NBA got shut down and Tom Hanks got it, and then suddenly the Americans took it seriously.
Tom Hanks is a national hero.
Yeah, and the NBA you take away our basketball. It was like, that was amazing. Wow. So and then sort of like we soldiered on. Actually, we did Baltimore. We played to 2 people, and it was like, bless them, they both paid $10 each in.
Wow.
So we got $10 each. It was like, whee! Greg Rekus, I love Greg. And we were like, well, we're just going to soldier on until we can't do it anymore. And I think we did. DC, there was a few more in, and then Philly was pretty good. It was okay, but for some reason we didn't get paid because the venue were panicking about COVID and that, we can't really give them this much money and stuff. So ended up getting bought a load of cigs and booze and stuff instead, to say sorry that the venue hadn't paid us. I don't know what the ins and outs of it were, because Greg was sorting the money because it was like his bit of the tour, but we were supposed to then, I think we did Philly, and then we did the New York show got cancelled, and then we did Stroudsburg. Do you know the Holy Mess? The band The Holy Mess?
No.
Steve-O from the Holy Mess put on us on in Stroudsburg, and the venue were like, COVID's happening, and we was like, fuck it, let's just do it in my basement. So we did the show in the basement.
Cool.
But when we were there, Greg got a message going, hey, Canadian citizen, return to Canada in the next 48 hours, we'll be shutting the borders.
Oh shit.
And it was like, it was all very thank you and please and very Canadian.
Yeah, goodbye.
And so Greg, like, we did the show, and then Greg just like drove, he dropped me at my record label, TPOS Records, another label I work with in the States. And then it was just like, and then Greg sort of went off, so we didn't get to Montreal, and our plan was then to go from Montreal to fly to France, do a couple of shows in France, come to UK, do the UK tour, and then do the rest of Europe.
That would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing, but it didn't happen. So
you've got the US and Canada leg of it planned again, have you?
We're doing the Europe as well, and
excellent.
UK. So we'll be back in the UK. Good. End of March, so that'll be cool.
Is there any way you're looking forward to playing in particular when you go to the States or go to Canada?
States. No, where was I thinking? Lafayette, Indiana, just because I've seen my friends travelling broken out of gas. That'd be nice. Canada, I'm looking forward to playing the Bovine Sex Club in Toronto. It's a weird name.
That is a very weird name.
Yeah, apparently it's a legendary punk venue.
Bovine Sex Club.
Yeah, okay. I believe Deke has played there. So,
right.
So I'm hoping for a framed picture of Derek from Make That a Take, Rad Apples and uniforms. Just there. Tragical History Tour played here.
That better be there.
It better be there.
Yeah, take a photo and send it.
Yeah,
on your Instagram.
Yeah, just a picture.
Have you in front of it?
Just Derek looking like this is drawing from Descendants. I always say that's what he looks like. I love him. Derek's awesome. Yeah, so we're playing there. That's a place I wanted to play for a while.
Cool. Just because of the name.
Yeah, the name kind of excites me, and I've heard so much about it. Winnipeg, I love playing in Winnipeg.
Right.
It's usually about -50 out or something, but it's like biting cold. But the people in Winnipeg are really awesome, and they always support me and come watch my shows. And Greg's from Winnipeg,
right,
and stuff. So it's also where Propaganda are from.
Obviously, yeah.
And,
do you know those guys?
No, I've never met any of Propaganda or the Weaker Thans. Greg used to live next door to the guy from the Weaker Thans, though.
Right, okay.
But I've never met any of them. No.
Maybe when you go away.
I have played at the Albert, where they played a lot of their early gigs, and it's mentioned in some of their songs.
Okay.
But the owner from the Albert was really funny. He goes, "Oh, do you know who the first band to play here were?" And I said, "Oh, was it Propaganda by any chance?" And he goes, "No, that's what you'd think, isn't it? It was Husker Du."
Huh.
And I was like, "Wow!" So I did the Husker Du cover, and he was like, "You can come back anytime and play here."
That's awesome. Sweet. So tonight you did quite a few songs. You had some acoustic songs, you had some on the banjo, and you had some of your stomp books. Your banjo, you said that's the oldest thing in that room.
It was definitely the oldest thing.
Have you got it there?
Yes, yeah. This banjo is from 1932, I believe, or something like that. Well, the factory that made them, Whirlwind, unfortunately the Whirlwind logo thing fell off the other day. I don't know where it's gone. It's probably long lost. Because I used this banjo, even though it's a relic. Got bombed in 1942 and never got made, and then they never got reopened.
Really?
So apparently, yeah, somebody was telling me they're like super rare, and it was the banjo player from Lonnie Donegan's band. Banjo.
That's really cool. It's really nice.
It's got a new skin, and the keys. I changed the keys because the keys were all warped. I was given it. So Lonnie Donegan's banjo player, his granddaughter worked with me at PRS.
Right, okay.
And she handed it to me saying my granddad passed away, and he wanted his instruments to go to people who would play them, and she said, "You look like the kind of guy who would play a banjo." So I don't know what that says about me. I don't know if it's the beard or the tattoos, but apparently I look like a banjo player.
I know you are.
Yeah, I played the banjo because why not? That's awesome. I love this little.
So had you played the banjo before that, or was that your first introduction to it?
No, I'd never played a banjo before.
How did you find getting used to the tuning and the chords? And
well, I play in an open G tuning anyway.
Open G tuning?
Yeah, on the guitar with the slide.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Ah.
So all the slide stuff you heard tonight, all the old blues stuff, so my set tonight was kind of like standard key, and then when I switched to the banjo...
Did you swap guitars?
No, I just detuned.
Oh, okay.
Quickly. I'm really good at sneaky detuning.
Notice, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're chatting while you're doing it at these tracks, right?
So I've done it for years, I suppose. It's just like natural. But yeah, I play in all the slide stuff's in G tuning, so G major tuning.
Yeah.
So the banjo is this banjo is in a G major tuning, so it was really simple. It's just sort of, you just have to get used to the sympathetic string here.
Yeah.
So that's a G, that's a C, that's a G, E, and D. Like that.
Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of, you don't have to put it in that tuning. You can put it with like all sorts of. There's one called Dead Man tuning, which I have played about with. I did on one of my records. It's got like two strings of the same note and stuff, and it makes this really weird drony sound. It's dark. Yeah, banjos. There's like all sorts of possibilities with a banjo. It's a really cool little instrument. I like it because it's a sort of percussion. It's a stringed percussion instrument, kind of. Yeah, there's lots of possibilities with the banjo. But yeah, I love taking. I don't get to take it out as much as I'd like. If I've got the car, I can take it. But when you're either public transport or you're flying or something, you can only really take one instrument. So you end up like taking the guitar because that's the easiest.
Yeah, probably got more songs on that as well.
Yeah, way more songs. Yeah, way more songs. I would like to write some more songs on the banjo. I have sort of thought about it at some point of doing an entirely banjo album, but
that Deliverance song was...
Oh, thank you.
Really enjoyed
It's
that.
really funny. Yeah, still can't play dueling banjos. I now feel like at this point now, I've made that joke so much that I shouldn't learn dueling banjos because otherwise it really ruins the joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not as proficient on. I'm not even that proficient on the guitar, to be honest. I'm not really a guitar player, but I'm not as proficient on the banjo as I am on the guitar, I suppose. That's the other reason. I toured with a guy called Slackbird who is an amazing banjo player, and it just works. He's such a good banjo player, and he's just like he can literally hold an audience with a banjo.
Wow.
And a stomp box for whatever, an hour or something, and he's really great, and he's just like, wow, looking him play, and I'm like, yeah, I can play, but I'm not that good. He's like doing all the like claw hammer stuff, and you're just like, yeah, that's insane. That's proper banjo playing. He studied it and stuff.
Yeah. Is your stomp box nearby? Because I'd love to sort of chat about that as well if we could.
It's in the car.
Don't worry.
We can chat about it though. Yeah, it's a bit of wood with a pickup in it.
It looks like it's an old pedal or something though.
Oh right, no, yeah, it's just a bit woody. I tape it to the floor. That's why it's got all that gaff tape on.
Okay.
But it is absolutely the worst thing to take through airport security. If you want to kill like half an hour, 45 minutes extra on your flight security check, take a stomp box through.
I think it's just a bomb or something.
Yeah, it's a box of wood with some wires in it, with a load of gaffer tape on it.
Sounds suspicious.
Yeah, it's good. I spent an hour in Newark Airport with the guy asking me, what is it? And I said, it's a stomp box. And he's like, what's a stomp box? I'm like,
stomp on it.
I stamp on it and it sounds like a kick drum. It's like, why would you do that? He's like, then they drug tested it and then they took it apart.
Oh God.
They took all the inners out of it. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's never going to work again. I guess it's so uncomplicated. Like its own. I was trying to explain it. It was like, it's really uncomplicated. It's a pickup, a microphone with some wires going to a cable, and I plug the cable in, and then it goes into the PA, and I stamp on it, and that comes out through the PA, and we turn the bass up, and it sounds like a kick drum. That was science.
No,
fucking amazing.
Americans don't do science.
Yeah.
Okay. So you played bass originally, did you?
Yeah, I was a bass player.
Was this before or after you were screaming in?
Before, yeah. I started out as a bass player, and then apparently it was decided that I needed to be the singer because I was a massive show-off. So, I started out as a bass player in a punk pop band. We started out as a grunge band, and then we discovered Green Day, the second Green Day album. They hadn't even done Dookie yet. That's how old I am. And we discovered Green Day. We're like, yeah, we could probably do that. I had 2 strings on my bass. We were awful. We were called the Annabelle Club. We were awful. Amazing. But we had a lot of fun. And then I got the next band. I ended up getting pushed to the front as the singer. That band split up. I ended up going back to bass and actually could play the bass by then. And then I went from 2 strings to 5-string bass.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I was feeling
That's a bit of a leap, isn't it?
Yeah, I was feeling very pretentious. But yeah, but then I ended up being a singer again after that. So when I first moved to London in 2000, ended up screaming in a hardcore band, and then screaming in Among the Missing and stuff. And then Among the Missing kind of died in 2006. I was kind of running my solo stuff with the band at the same time at the first, which was probably why the band split up.
Okay.
Because
Singer's off doing other stuff.
Yeah. Singer's just played at the Underworld on his own.
Doesn't need us.
Yeah. So that was the thing, I think. But yeah, unfortunately, that band fell apart. And so yeah, the solo thing's been like 16 years. Wow.
God, that's good going.
The first solo album came out in 2005, September 2005.
So what's latest out? Are you touring an album at the moment, or are you just touring because you're touring?
Yes, so there is an album due.
Okay.
Any day now. 4th of March. They're actually already printed.
Is it on vinyl again?
It is on vinyl. Very nice multicoloured vinyl, sort of splatted pinky vinyl. Which is a best of.
Okay.
So it's like a track from each album. Like it's 14 tracks. and then 3 bonus tracks because we can fit it all on vinyl, of course.
Cool.
The Grindcore Blues one is on there.
Yes. But I've never seen anybody play blast beats with their feet on a stomp box until tonight, and it would show me the light.
It's very silly.
I used to be in a really heavy band, and a friend of mine said to me, Tim, you do blues, but you can also play grindcore. Why don't you put the 2 things together? And I said, no, because that's fucking ridiculous. And now I feel like, because I've done the Scar song, I'm going to tick off all the genre boxes now, because I'm going to do Grindcore Blues. Because sadly, my friend passed away, and when he died, I thought, I've got to write a song about him. Grindcore Blues is what he suggested, so here we go. This song's from my buddy Freud, who's no longer with us. Grindcore Blues, about 38 seconds long, if that.
Silly. Actually, on the record, it's got Mike from the Werecats on drums.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Drumming on it, as well as me doing the blast beat, and I play bass and electric guitar and stuff on it.
Cool.
But I've done a Bridge City sessions where I did it with the blasting on just an acoustic, like you heard tonight, and we had to redo it after the first tape because the guys filming just cracked up laughter. It was brilliant. It was really funny. Like, oh man, I'm really sorry, we're gonna have to do that again. We were all laughing too much. That's insane. Why would you do that? I was like, I don't know.
It was fucking hilarious. I loved it.
Yeah. It's a kind of nice little funny bit. Yeah, I kind of like to take people on a journey. But yeah, so the best of kind of like does sort of showcase each side of me, because I don't really stick to a plan. I haven't made the same album twice, sort of thing.
Yeah, because I've got a couple from you when I saw you last time in Bolton. Both brilliant.
Oh.
Both very different.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Which ones did you get? I can't remember. I'm terrible at remembering. Oh, on vinyl, so that was Come and...
Yeah, Come and
then that other one is the TCH one. So that's actually, yes, that's TCH. So that was a different project, but kind of using my full name, Timothy C. Holehouse, or TCH.
Okay.
But then I stopped doing that. I did that project from 2007 to 2007 to 2014, and then I just knocked it on the head because there we go. If anybody wants those, I've got flipping loads of them left.
Buy it, it's great.
I've got loads of them left. Yeah, I tried to do like a proggy side project, and it was like prog and post-rock and noise. It's because I'm obsessed with the band Godspeed You Black Emperor.
That's a great name.
Do you know Godspeed? Oh,
no.
Check them out. They're incredible. They're from Montreal. They were so good. They still are going, I think. I love Godspeed You Black Emperor. They're just... It's entirely instrumental. It's so epic. There's like 9 of them in the band.
Right.
And it's just like, it will go from like 1 guitar to 2 drummers, cello, violins, 4 guitars, 2 bass players, or something. Epic. It's just insane.
They're amazing.
So they take you on a ride. I love them, and that was kind of what that project was kind of about. That's why it kind of sounds so epic, and the songs are about 25 minutes long.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with it.
Yeah. And actually the band on that are a black metal band called A Forest of Stars.
Right.
They actually backed me up on that. So they're really good. A couple of them also play on Come, the more country album. But yeah, I did that project for like 7 years, and I kind of got to a point where I was like, this is done. I'm going to just integrate elements of that into songwriting, because the stuff under my own name, I do try and make some sort of song out of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether I always do, but yeah, I try and a certain degree of sort of songness to it.
Yeah, I think you definitely accomplished that. What's the new album going to be called then? Have you got a name?
Oh, so this one's coming out. It's called Very.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah, I've seen you advertising that. Yeah.
Yes. So Very Tim Holehouse. I think that was kind of funny. And so it's I do my albums in alphabet, but not in order through the alphabet. So they're like each. So I had an album called Antidote, but I've also had an album called Where, And
right, okay.
so like one word from the alphabet, but I hit it randomly. And so there's 17 on this one? So I think there's another 9 to go or something, but then we're thinking that when I've done the final 9, once those are done and sold, obviously, the idea for the record label is to do very expanded, so do a second record.
Okay.
Which is very, so it kind of goes with
it. Yeah, so you got the other one, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea, but yeah, it was time. It's the 20th album I've released, because of 2 before the alphabet thing. It's my 20th album, and it's kind of a nice record because it's coming out on an American label and a Canadian label. It's kind of a nice introduction to the Canadian and American markets to my music, who may not have got all the previous stuff, so they can go, oh, right. Although apparently I'm on the Las Vegas, all my entire back catalogue is on the Las Vegas Public Library list.
How?
I have no idea. My friend took out all my albums. Brilliant. On the library list, just to show me from that's Vegas. He was like, "That's so cool, man! I don't know how you're on the Vegas." I said, "No, neither do I."
That's crazy.
But my show in Vegas on the last tour was absolutely rammed, so it's obviously done some good.
That's brilliant. Hopefully you get a good turnout for the rest of the tour then, when you head back over.
Yeah, that was an ace show. That was like, if there was ever a surreal sort of end to a tour, you just think, I literally said to my driver, it's like, because I had a 36-hour journey to get home after Vegas, I was like, well, I think you've seen the best show of the tour. Tonight is going to be one of those where I just pile on a fake smile and just run through this shit one more time sort of gig. And we get there and it's this really fancy terrace bar. Even in November, Vegas don't get that cold. It's a really nice terrace bar, and I'm like, it's fancy, and I'm like, I'm playing to a bunch of people in suits drinking cocktails. This is going to go really badly. And then just the doors opened and just a bunch of guys with like back patches and dreads and mohawks and girls with like blue hair and stuff. Just fucking all the Vegas punks just came in, and it was just rammed with Vegas punks in this horrendously fancy rooftop bar, and I was just like, this is amazing.
Quite surreal.
And I thought the owner might be like losing his shit because of all the punks, and he was just like loving it. He was just like, cool. Oh man, this is so cool. And then we were playing, and I got asked to do an encore, and I did something I'd never done before, which is like, I call it the Jake Martin. I don't know if you know Jake Martin. Jake's a lovely lad, but he always does the sort of crowd picture with the in the selfie, so I call it a Jake Martin. So I did the Jake Martin. I've never done that before.
Cool.
But it was such a I was literally floating on air for at least the first 16 hours of my 36-hour journey home.
That's a great way to end a tour, isn't it? That sounds perfect. Do you get much time to sort of chill out then in between tours, or is it just like, is it relentless, constant touring?
In the last year, there's been a lot more time off, but yeah, it didn't used to. I do, occasionally you have to take time off. Your body just goes. I mean, when I got off tour in December, I literally watched all of Get Back. I did. I binged it. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this, because it's like being at a band practice. It was like I've done this. So I could kind of watch it, and like, if I fell asleep, I mean, I don't miss much. The other thing I do is I watch football when I watch Match of the Day. It's kind of my guilty pleasure.
Right.
I guess.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who'll be with you on that. I'm not one of them though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of like Match of the Day because my team are Portsmouth, and we're never going to be on Match of the Day at this rate. Can't even get out of League One, so. It's Premier League teams, and it's good football, but also it means that I can fall asleep to it, and I'm just like whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I have nothing invested in any of the teams here and stuff, so I don't really have a Premier League team, so I just watch it.
Just because football.
Because it's football.
It's another day. The battery died at some point in our chat last night, so here I am this morning again with Tim, who's had not much sleep. But look how beautiful and fresh he looks.
I've had a shower and I've got coffee, I'll be alright.
Yes. So I guess we'll just try and recap over some things we touched on last night, which we may or may not be in the previous video.
Yeah, sure.
Let's start with your album you got coming out on
Records, yeah. It's like good and piratey. So I've got a best of album because I've done far too many albums. Frank Turner, you've got to really keep up, mate. I know you've just got a new one out, buddy, but got to keep up. I'm on album number 20.
Wow.
So this is a compilation of. It's actually not all the albums because the first two are left off, but since the third album they've all been in the Alphabet series. But I've been going through the alphabet randomly, so to see that if anybody worked it out. So each album has this one. The first letter is from a letter in the alphabet. So Grit, Antidote, Down. But I've had like Where, and now this one's called Very, and the artwork was done by the wonderful Naomi Randall, who's sat over there, who's also my tour mate on this tour. Lovely painting of a bat with broken bones.
Wicked.
Because Good Morning Mr. Vampire and Broken Bones are both on there. It's all the hits.
Oh, very clever.
and stuff. So, and it's on a sort of pinky splattered vinyl.
Nice.
Yeah, so, and the other fun fact is it's on 3 different labels. So TPOS from America, Pink Lemonade from Canada, and Aura Records in the UK.
Perfect. And that's up for pre-order end of this month, did you say?
It's out on, hopefully by the end of this month. It's out on the 4th of March.
Fantastic. I'm sure to pick one up. And you reckon that'd be, for people who've not heard much of your music, that's probably the best way to buy that. It's got a bit of everything on it.
Yeah, so it's sort of like you can go through and you can go, oh, I like this one, and we actually even say which album they're from.
Okay, cool.
As well, so even if the album's sold out, they're all on Spotify and YouTube and all the digital things, and I don't understand any of that stuff. So Ian just takes care of all that. I'm not very technological. I broke my YouTube channel. That's how bad I am.
How did you break a YouTube channel?
I tried to merge 3 YouTube channels together and ended up with no YouTube channel.
Good work.
Yeah.
Well done.
Went really badly. So I had to rebuild it, and with Ian. Ian's not only my label manager, he's like makes flyers for me, general life coach, and like sorts out any tech problems I have. But Ian, I broke it again.
Well, you were saying last night that you think you get to that point where you need a manager now because you've got so much going on. Why don't you just get him to manage you?
I think Ian's just got so much on.
Yeah.
He's got a full-time job now working at Story Fields. He had to actually quit doing another thing. He has fingers in pie. We were discussing this yesterday, me and Naomi. He has fingers in many pies, and he had to quit. He was working for Greenmind, a gig putting on organised promotions company in Cambridge, and he was doing that. He was doing the label. He was working at Story Fields.
Wrestling.
Oh, and he's wrestling. Yes, he's a wrestling promoter as well.
Oh, wow.
Yes, good reminder. Yes, he loves his wrestling. I'm on 3 labels that are obsessed with wrestling. I've learnt so much about wrestling.
Danny Barrett from the Crash Mats is a big wrestling fan.
Oh, have to introduce him to either Malcolm Tent, Chris Walton from Pink Lemonade, or Ian, because they're all massive. Our label chats do descend into wrestling.
You just turn off at this point.
Yeah, I'm just
exit.
I have
phone down.
No idea what you guys are talking about. Yeah, so Ian's a really busy guy, so I am looking for a manager. And sometimes it's nice to separate that as well.
Yeah.
So I've got Dan, who was there last night, Carpe Diem Music, who does my publishing.
Oh, okay.
And he's also the Crash Mats publisher, he told me last night.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Used to me.
He's mainly there to help bands out with PRS.
Yeah.
PRS,
right, okay, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Dan works for the PRS. I used to work with him at the PRS.
It used to be dead cheap PRS. When I'm a member of PRS, and my membership was £10 forever. But now you've got to pay. Is it a yearly subscription or something, or if you sign up, or it's £50 or something?
It was free when I worked.
£30 forever.
Oh, that's not. Oh, is it?
That was like 7 years ago.
So yeah, it keeps changing. It was free when I worked there for a while as well. It was like it was £10, but it was like it was that £10 off your first royalty check.
Right. I wish they'd sort their bloody websites out.
And the website, we discussed how bad the website is, and Dan was like, "It's got better." Like, you deal with it now for me, because I when I was there, I worked there 16 years ago.
So he puts all your shows on there, does he? And all your
and all the stuff, because I just don't have time.
I keep forgetting to do that.
Yeah, I just don't have time to. I have enough admin stuff. I'm trying to get less admin, more music, is the plan. Because I'm trying to do some more, like, involved records. Yeah. I've got a little bit over. I'm partly down to the pandemic, but I've got a little over obsessed with my new record that I'm doing in May.
Ooh, we didn't talk about this last night.
No, yeah. I've got Pete Wright from Deccan Punch has already done the drums.
Cool.
We were supposed to go out in January to do it. So me and the bass player. So the bass player is my best friend James. James is one of those people who plays everything.
Right, but like yourself.
Yeah, well, I think he plays more. He's a better drummer.
Right, okay.
Than me. He played drums in previous bands of mine and stuff. He learned how to. He was in a band called Kendall.
He's a phenomenal drummer. Yeah, I remember. Is this Pete from Ducky Punches?
Oh, Pete's great.
He's fucking great.
Yeah. So we've got Pete and we've got a guy called James Harvey. And James is in a band called Kendall, and he plays everything as well. He's like a great drummer, bass. But he played bass in my second ever band.
Oh, okay.
So, and he's had some bad luck life things go on. So I kind of wanted to get him back into music, and now kind of the focus of this, he started doing a solo record.
Oh, great.
So he started, like, since I've kind of got him playing this, he started looking into doing a solo record. He's even talking about playing live.
Oh, great.
He's bought a looper pedal.
That guy last night who was saying that music isn't important, it just goes to show how important music is to people.
Yeah, he's had a really rough time. He was in a band called Kendall. He taught all the members of Kendall how to play their instruments. And
that's impressive.
And then, like, teaching them parrot fashion, then the band sort of fell apart. They replaced him because they wanted to go places, and he had 3 kids.
Right, okay.
And he couldn't quit his day job, so it was all a bit weird. Yeah. But I think they're all friends now. But James is amazing. So he's... But sorry, I've digressed. I've gone left at the traffic lights again. But so my next record is going to be like a gruff punk kind of... Well, Ollie says gruff punk. Other people have said grunge emo.
Oh.
Basically bands like Jets to Brazil, Rival Schools.
Cool.
Jimmy Eats World.
Okay, that sounds going to be interesting then.
Bit of Nirvana in there, I suppose.
That's a full band thing then, is it?
Yeah, so it's going to be
wicked.
A full band show. So,
any banjo in there?
No banjo on this one. No, the banjo I sort of reserve for the more bluesy stuff.
Okay.
But so yeah, it's more of a sort of, it's a very focused, and it's called Year because I did one song a month for a year.
Right.
And wrote it and recorded and did the demos, put them up on Bandcamp. But they were a bit rough and ready recorded. So the idea was then to just go in August 2020, smash it out. But because we've had this whole thing that's happened, didn't get in 2020, so I re-demoed it. And then kind of back and forth with Tim Van Doorn at Big Dog Studios in Antwerp.
I don't know them there.
Oh, right, he's done Billy Lyle's record, Joe McMahon, and God, he's done loads of stuff. Was it Mike Nograph? Like a bunch of stuff in the scene.
Cool.
It's a great studio. I heard of him through Caleb Stewart, who's sadly no longer with us, who I did the split with. And I just love the sound. So I was like, I want to do it. And so I got so into like this. But we've like had pre-production meetings. I've written everything out, all the structures.
Oh wow!
Demoed it, re-demoed it. Pete's put the drums on it now. It's all click tracked. It's all like this, and like now I've got a violin.
Slowly seen it forming then.
Yeah, so the violins, there's going to be violin on it as well, and like some guest vocals, some guest piano.
Sounds epic.
You're going to be pretty involved. But yeah, every once in a while I do an album where I just like go full on and I just go overboard, and I spend ridiculous amounts of money, which is why I'm broke right now because I just paid for the studio, and make a really great sounding record that nobody buys.
I'll buy it.
But yeah,
and you guys are going to buy a copy too?
Yes, please. But hopefully, I mean, I did a little Spotify playlist of like all the stuff that influenced it, and a lot of people were like, oh, that sounds really interesting.
Okay, cool.
This is a bit of a difference. So it's kind of why the best of's coming out is almost like an end of chapter sort of thing.
Got you.
I won't say end of chapter 1 because I guess the first 2 records were kind of end of chapter 1, so maybe end of chapter 2. Chapter 3 is kind of like doing something totally different.
Cool.
And kind of moving away slightly from the blues thing. I may revisit the bluesy thing, but yeah, there's new ideas and new sounds that I'm exploring.
Well, that sounds great. It's good to sort of diversify what you're doing, and because you're obviously very talented and very sort of varied musician.
Very kind.
Playing, yeah. Well, I mean, you told me last night that you used to sing in a sludge band.
Sludge metal, yeah. We were a sludge metal band with grindcore bits and hardcore bits, because basically they started out as a sludge band, and then me and the drummer I got in my drummer. I was their third singer, and then came with pretty much replaced the drummer with the drummer that I wanted in the band.
Yeah, nice, good work.
I think it's called doing a Mike pattern. So join a band that as a singer who's already had a singer, and then take over.
Why not if it works?
Good work, Mike Patton.
And for those of you who don't know and haven't seen Tim play, he did a song last night which we'll probably put in a second, doing blues with blast beats on a stomp box, which was incredible.
it's very funny.
How do you make your stomp box? And you've had a bit of trouble with that, I believe, getting to different countries and.
So the stomp box, is actually one you can buy in shops. Okay. It's called a logarithm.
Right.
My friend is the guy who makes them.
Cool.
And mine was the prototype.
Right. Okay. That's why it looks a bit homemade.
Yeah. It's mine's also battered out. It's this thing I kick every night for like the last 10 years or something ridiculous. It's been used a lot. So he took a bit of a mahogany chest of drawers, filed it down, made a nice curve to it, put a microphone pickup inside, and it's sort of jack plug in, and it's not complicated.
Brilliant.
It did have rubber on the bottom, but it's perished, so I started taping it to also I kick it quite hard, so I tape it to the floor.
Right.
So it's covered in gaffer tape now, which means taking it into an airport and take it through security. Even if you take it out and put it in the box, they're like, what the fuck is this? So every time security, it's like, it's a good way to spend an hour in security just waiting while they try to figure out what this is and check it's not a bomb. And just standing there going, it's not a bomb. I kick it. It's like a
look,
kick.
no.
Yeah. So, but it is fun. It's just to give especially with the blues thing, it kind of gives it a nice beat. I know C6 Steve uses one.
Yeah.
JJ Cale even back in the day, and then Leadbelly. I mean, Leadbelly used to do it really old school. He used to have a plank of wood,
right,
that just he'd put on the floor. But the best one is my next tour mate is Greg Rikas. Now, when he comes to UK, he just has a little board of wood. He's like a pocket-sized Canadian. I call him Green Day on a budget.
Right, okay.
But when he's in Canada, he has his own stage that he brings. He puts it on top of the van. Seriously, check out Greg Rikas. Best live act, especially for acoustic stuff I've ever seen. It's not fey and whimsical and twee. There's no quiet songs with Greg.
Okay.
So he has this stage and he stamps on it. And he's got tambourines attached to it and a mic pickup. And so he's stamping on this big stage, doing jumps, and has an acoustic guitar, but he has it slightly distorted, and he's got like a sort of gruff punk sort of
amazing
voice, and he bounces. Yeah, he's incredible.
I'll check him out. He sounds brilliant.
He's amazing, and I'm touring for 2.5 months with him. That's how much I like him.
Amazing.
But yeah, the giant stomp box. It's it on YouTube. If you see him in the UK, we're touring the UK together. He will only have a bit of wood that I've rendered from the tip the other day for him, and we'll put feet on it and some it will still have tambourines in it.
That sounds incredible.
But he, it makes a hell of a noise for one man.
One little pocket-sized Canadian.
Yeah, it's just so good, and the jumps and everything. He's like.
Speaking of jumping, Tim, you did a jump last night.
I know. He's inspired me.
Last time I did a jump, I tore a cartilage in my knee when I landed, and I thought, I'll try that again, and tore it even more. So when you did that, I was like, oh god, Tim, don't take cartilage.
No, I've landed the last 3. There's been some near misses on the early days, but yeah, I've only been playing standing up since May.
Right.
Because all the old blues stuff, because of the stomp box, played sit down. So I've only been playing standing up. So the first half of the set, in my sets now when people see me, is the new stuff. And then the second half is the bluesy old stuff.
And it's a nice excuse for a little sit down, isn't it?
It is also an excuse for sit down because I'm 45, yeah. But it is kind of like it's a nice way to still play the old songs, which do sound completely different and in a different tuning.
Yeah.
But you still play the old songs because people still want to hear them. I've done gigs where I've not done Broken Bones and somebody's come up to me and gone, why didn't you do Broken Bones? It's like, because everybody's heard that song now, surely. I've played that song over the world for the last, 12 years or something.
If you send me that, actually, I'll bang that in the podcast version of it.
Right.
That'd be cool.
What, Broken Bones?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, yeah, so like...
I think I've got an a cappella version somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah, because I do a cappella live, but the real song... So the reason I got a cappella for that one is because on the record there's only a guitar solo.
You should have sang the guitar solo.
Yeah. So it was all on the bass and piano and clarinet. I wrote it all and then got some friends to play the bits that I can't play piano very well, and I really can't play clarinet. But I sort of wrote these melody lines, but I thought it sounded really cool with like the guitar only coming in on a solo.
Right, yeah.
And so then I was like, how do I do this live? And I kind of wrote it originally, it's called Broken Bones because I toured with a broken wrist.
Right.
And so I needed...
that skeleton on the artwork?
Yeah, hence the skeleton. So Broken Bones kind of harks back, actually, it's probably very early days. It was like 2006 tour with a band called VD from Japan, and I couldn't do so much. So for the first few shows I had my friend Rob from band Executive Distraction Task, who also produces my albums, like Calm and stuff. And then after a few days I could put my fingers together in the cast, so I taped them up with the pick and then played like that, or lent EBOs on things and played like that.
So how were you getting on before that then? What were you doing before that?
Rob was playing.
He was right, okay.
Playing for me.
I thought imagine he sort of like leaning over, strumming the guitar for you.
Yeah, no, he was actually playing. He's a really brilliant guitar player. But yeah, so I kind of needed to do stuff that didn't involve playing, so I kind of made this song up about breaking bones, and that's kind of... So it started out a cappella, then it turned into a proper song, and then I was like, I can't actually play that live, but it's kind of fun. Fuck it, I'll do it a cappella. But then when I sort of brought it back as an a cappella live, I was like, let's get the audience involved. That's kind of cool.
I was quite surprised last night how, because normally stockport could be, they'll cheer and say yay, woo woo, but getting them involved in anything is quite hard. I think everyone did really well to get everyone involved.
I think the thing is, once one person does something like that, it's infectious. Derek from Make That Take, Tragical History Tour, Uniforms, just all round wonderful person. He said it is infectious. He said once you've got one person doing something like that, then somebody else will do it, and then they know. Then people don't want to be left out. Yeah, and it's kind of cool, and I like that. It's like Freddie Mercury managed to get the whole of Wembley Stadium going. to do We Will Rock You, and I think that's what it is. It's just infectious. It's like just a whole sort of well, that person's doing it, so I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like.
It's also a case of like someone else is doing it. I don't feel so stupid. So
yeah. I kind of like that sort of vibe, and I like not making a show just about the act on stage. It's nice to have like, wow, I felt like a part of that.
Exactly, yeah.
You come away going, oh, I felt like a part of that. And I think punk does it a lot more than most genres. There's a lot of like, we're in this together, and that's kind of why, even though I haven't played for the last, kind of heading towards more punk stuff slightly more recently, but I haven't played more. I play more bluesy stuff, but I play in the punk scene as well as the blues scene, and that's down to a lot of that. It's like kind of it's the community feel and stuff. It's quite funny. I mean, I played at Fest, and Tony was just like, I mean, I met Tony from Fest, and he was like, I took a punt on you because, well, something like what you play doesn't really make sense why you would even want to apply to play Fest. This is ridiculous. He's like, when they have the Fest magazine, it says fans of hot water music or like Flatliners, etc., or like the all the bands that they expect to see. And mine was like for fans of Swamps, Tom Waits, Whiskey. It was like Captain Beefheart. It was like all the things that kind of perfectly describe me. He's like, and it was like, I don't know even how this guy got in touch with us, but I really love this. I think you should all check this out. This is something different for Fest. Cool. He sounds like he's from the Louisiana swamps, and I'm pretty sure he is from the Louisiana swamps, but it says he's from the UK. And Tony thought I was American living in the UK. And when I talked to him afterwards, he was like, man, I genuinely thought you weren't British.
It'd be cool if you could get on a Manchester Punk Festival at some point.
I've done Manchester Punk, I
must have missed you when you played that.
2016, I think.
Oh, before I went.
I think it was 2016 or 2017. It was the year that Tim Loud wore corpse paint.
Right.
He wore full black metal corpse paint.
Amazing.
And being Tim Loud, being one of the funniest and most intelligent people I've ever met, Tim Loud wore full corpse paint, didn't mention a single, like it was perfectly normal that he wore corpse paint, didn't mention a single thing while he was playing about the corpse paint, and then didn't take the corpse paint off for the rest of the day, just walk around in it, which was really funny. We were watching a band together, and this girl turned around and just went, ah! and screamed at him, and it's like, he just smiled. So, it was that year.
That sounds great.
Yeah, Tim Loud is awesome as well. I really big up Tim Loud. Probably one of the most intelligent, underrated songwriters in the scene, I would say. And also a really nice guy, and really funny. And don't ever get into a theoretical debate with him because he will intellectually destroy you.
Okay, I'll bear that in mind.
He's a smart guy.
So you're getting off down to Peterborough, is it, or Portsmouth?
Peterborough.
Peterborough.
Portsmouth.
An hour?
Yes. Peterborough's where Portsmouth's where I'm from. Peterborough's where I'm going to.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Both different places. Okay. Cool. And how many more dates you got left on the tour after that?
This is the last one today.
Oh, brilliant!
So I dropped Naomi back to Cambridge after the show because it's a daytime show, and then I'll scoot back down to London. Got a couple of days off, then I'm playing on Wednesday in Bristol. Bit of a confusing gig in Bristol because it was supposed to be on the way to Wales. My flight to Canada, which is I'm flying to now on Saturday and not Sunday, the airline changed to the Saturday, so my gig in Wales just became unattainable on Friday. So I can't go all the way to Cardigan and then drive back overnight and then make a flight for 11 o'clock in the morning from Gatwick. I don't think it's just physically possible. Well, it might be, but it's. I think it's beyond what I can actually do.
Even for someone who doesn't sleep, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, I think that would be too much. So, but I had to cancel the New Year's Eve gig in Bristol at the same venue, and I feel really bad if I cancelled again. Yeah. So I'm not in usually it was for very good reasons I cancelled New Year's Eve, but I won't go into it. But Yeah, so I don't normally cancel shows. I don't like doing that,
No,
and
no,
I had
no,
to do. So I have to do this one. So I'm going to do that on Wednesday, and then probably drive back overnight from that one. So I'm in Thursday, Friday to get ready for Canada.
Cool, we've got a bit of time to sort yourself out.
Yeah,
See misses.
pack and stuff, and then fly to Canada, and then I've got a week with Lee Resistant, who used to be Lee from Fletcher.
Okay.
The band Fletcher, if anybody remembers Fletcher. Lee is the reason why Fletcher aren't going anymore. Lee is stuck in Canada.
Oh yes, right, okay, got you.
He's got a kid in Canada and he can't actually leave.
That's maybe not so like me, so Canadians see it reported.
Yeah. But yeah, Lee Resistant, Sourface, which is Chris Walton from the band Father Bodies, Bad Egg, and Gifted Kid. His solo thing, Sourface. And hopefully bringing him over in July actually, so that'll be really cool. And then a guy called Scott Murray, who I don't believe I've met, but seems really nice. So
cool.
So there's 4 of us on that, and so that's a week. Then I fly to Winnipeg, and then from Winnipeg, we do Winnipeg, and then we go over the border into America. And it's the Reed wants to meet Greg in Winnipeg because that's where Greg Rikus lives. Apparently he used to live next door to the guy from the Weakerlands. But now he we sort of hop over the border, and then it's a redo of our tour from 2020, and we go through the Midwest and down through the East Coast, and then back up to Montreal, fly from Montreal to France a couple of shows, then back to UK do 10 days, out to mainland Europe until 16th of May, and then 16th of May I go into the studio and start recording Year.
And that's this year. That sounds like a lot to pack into a short amount of time.
And then come back in June up to a festival in Elgin, back down via Warrington doing some shows with Tim Loud, and then by about mid-June I will be collapsing face down in my bed.
You'll be needing a little sleep after that.
I'll need a little nap. So yeah. So I don't know whether I'll break my record of 300 shows this year, but we'll see.
What number are you on now, man?
Today, at the moment, today's number 5.
Oh, okay.
So but I've got so many coming up. But that's because January cancelled a lot of stuff.
Right.
So but yeah, it's going to be cool. I don't think it's going to be 300 shows this year, to be honest. When I do a record, there's usually not 300 shows. Yeah. 2016 I did 300 shows in a year. Yeah, and I was doing about. Before the pandemic, I was doing about 250, 300 shows a year.
Wow, okay.
I even did one year where I played on Christmas. In fact, 2016, I played on Christmas Day.
Fuck, I think we're lucky if we play 12 shows a year.
Yeah, I think most bands say that too. I don't know if there is any videos of Naked Shit, and it is quite a hard band to Google.
Yeah, maybe yeah.
You do get an awful lot of G.G. Allen footage. But yeah, it was a really fun band to be in, but it was very funny, and it was just like, I did that, we toured with that, we did 10 days tour with that, and we felt very, we felt very silly because we were kind of a joke, like Semble Paramedics, but it's like taking the piss out of the band's son, who take themselves far too seriously.
I do like the song there.
I love some, but they take themselves far too seriously, so it was kind of tongue-in-cheek. So some people, we were a real Marmite band, people either really loved us or really hated us. But yeah, we did a 10-day tour with Red Stars Parade and Flatlands, who were great bands. Really loved both those bands, but I felt really we shouldn't be here. But I loved that tour so much. It was and it finished after 10 days, and I was like, I could go for another 10,
Fucking hell.
And it was that was the sort of thing, and it was as soon as when my bands would come home, it would be oh, it's good to be home from tour. Yeah, I'd be I still want to be out. I want to still be out. So I probably worked my bands into a stupor. So going solo was great, and then I think that was 2005. I did my first I pretty much. Already by 2005 was touring solo, and I was still in the band, but I did a 3-week tour with my friends. My summer as a Salvation Soldier from Iceland, and they were just like, we want to do 3 weeks around the UK, so we went everywhere.
Sweet.
We played in like Newtown in Middle Wales and
brilliant,
like up Arthur's Sea.
How was that compared to Colwyn Bay? Similar.
Colwyn Bay was a lot tamer than Newtown.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I know a woman did not get on a table and drop her trousers and underwear and swing her lady bits at me in Colwyn Bay.
Right.
So that was
interesting crowd, very excitable crowd.
Yes. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean the Icelandics said, we're not staying in Newtown, are we? And I said, no, we're going to go up, we're going to do the drive overnight to Swansea. And it was like, oh, Swansea. so I just, and then we played a hardcore show, because I, like, as I say, I'm sort of rooted in the punk scene. Yeah. So we played in a hardcore show in Swansea, and they were like, whoa, Wales is edgy.
Sweet.
But I don't think Wales is edgy. I think Wales is lovely. But
yeah, of course it is a beautiful place.
Colwyn Bay was nice. It was just one of those things where it's like the scene is very new, and I think a lot of people need to people need to get used to it. Like Mark's moved there. He's opened the pavilion. He wants to do cool things. He's obviously got to kind of somehow pander to the audience too, though, so he puts like a dance night. Maybe he shouldn't open the doors for the dance night while the crash mats are playing. But but Zoe and Jay are really, really trying to get something going there, so I hope it kicks off.
Yeah, I do. I've known Zoe for ages, like she's back in Manchester. So
yeah.
I hope it goes well for her.
Jay, her partner's absolutely wonderful too. So
it's lovely.
They're both so nice. And I mean, she's like a machine, and she's got she's another one where I don't know how she sleeps when she sleeps, because she's got 3 kids, and puts on shows and manages a Weatherspoon that's just like, wow.
That's impressive.
So that's
good eye.
She's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, more people in the scene like that. I mean, I don't have time for promoting, but I know how much work promoting is. I've done it in the past, so I respect anybody, and thank yourself, like people who put on shows, because it's a lot of work for very little praise and thanks. Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's wrap it up. Let's get some breakfast and get you back on the road.
Off to Peterborough.
Thanks for talking to us, Tim.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Naomi.
And check out Scott's band, Tio Rico. They're fantastic.
Check out Naomi Randall.
Yes, and Naomi Randall.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
And Our Real Records by
Victor, come here.
Oh, Victor.
I was going to try and get you on camera then.
Victor's too shy.
Right, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Naomi. And see you soon.